Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to sumFX from OSC Audio, which is a fantastic modular multi-effect processor. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. And additionally, if you would like to participate to the giveaway and have an opportunity to own a copy of this app, please do follow the instruction in the video description. Thank you again. As you can see, it's AUV-free compliant as I'm inside AUM, and I have instantiated as an AUV-free insert and effect app on an audio channel. In the audio channel, I have Kingo Bass, which is a fantastic bass app, which I definitely recommend it if you haven't tried it before. So built with AudioKit. And then I have a MIDI channel here, where I have Auto Bass, one of the bud apps, again, excellent, which where I have a pattern which is being produced following a minor scale and key C. So I see minor scale, chord of 4 bars, which sounds like this. Okay, as you can see in the middle, you have the representation of the waveform. You have two choices. You can see the waveform after processing in terms and where you select your post or pre-processing here. And you can have them also both enabled, which is really nice. At the top, you have a chain of effects. You have 8 slots, slot 1, 2, 3, up to 8. And you can activate them, each one of them, clicking on the on and off symbol. In the middle, you can select the type or category of effect that you want to turn on. And then, of course, you can click on the name slot to select each one individually. And the reason that, of course, you can select each one individually is because you can copy, paste them as you like and within the chain. And of course you can load a chain preset and also save the chain as well. The way it works in terms of loading your chain is you need to go to your device, find the sumFX app or folder, and then select presets, and then here you have slot presets, and then you have chain presets, which of course you can load, and you have a lot of different selection based on categories, which is really nice. And similarly, of course, when you save the chain, you can save it to your device. And of course, that gives you the ability to save it also in different locations, which is really great. Great features. So, you can change multiple effects, as I just mentioned, and then you can change individually each effect. In the middle here, you have a dry and wet selection, which can be based on chain, or so for the entire chain, or also specific to the slot which has been selected. And of course, you can then drag left and right to change the dry and wet balance. And then in the bottom here, you have modulation tools. Okay, so let's go to slot number 1 here. I should say also you have undo redo option here. You have also a reset chain, which is really nice. Okay, so let's click here and let's select, for example, filter, and let's activate that filter. You can see that here you have the representation of the filter. Down here on the right hand side, it says stereoFilter. Yes, indeed. You can select the filter for your left and right channel as well, which is absolutely great and really useful. So let's click play. You can change the input here. And also the output. Let me show you. So and as you can hear, I have changed just the cutoff on the first one because it is in stereo, but you can also link them like so. So you can change only one for both left and right channel. And you can see the representation here on the form, 2 different colors for pre or post as well. The post is the blue one. Here you have a number of additional selection for the type of filter. So you have a low-pass filter, high-pass filter, band-pass filter, notch, formant, etc. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can definitely experiment. And as you change the type of filter, of course, the parameters here in the middle will change. And as I just mentioned, you can link them left and right channel or not. Okay, and then here is where you can change the dry and wet focus. At the moment it is selecting on change, so it will change that for the old chain, but you can change to slot focus, and then it will change only the dry and wet effect for the slot which has been selected. Okay, so let me show you also what happens when it comes to modulation. At the bottom here you have modulation, you have input and output, which you can select and change. Here where it says empty on the left hand side, you can choose a parameter you want to modulate. So you can say slot number 1, which is the one which is selected. You can change the drive, the cutoff, the resonance. So let's try with the cutoff. And remember, always the starting point here. Normally I set it to 0, but it depends what you want to do. Then you can select the wave here. So sine, square, triangle, so random. Okay. The depth and the rate. And you can do that for 2 parameters. Okay, so for example, you can say for slot number 1, filter cutoff 1, and then you can say for filter cutoff 2 here for slot number 1 still, because that is the one which is selected. So you can do both channels, or you can also manipulate slot number 1 depth, rate, and bit per minute, which is additional features for you. So let's set these again like so, right? And let's try. I increase the resonance here a bit just to make it more explicit in terms of that modulation change in the cutoff frequency, but of course it depends on what you are after. So you can go to the next slot, like slot number 2. You can activate it and select a different effect like reverb, and let's activate it like so. And then again, as you can see, you have now a frost verb, which you have the ability to freeze as well, which is really fantastic again as a type of parameters and functionality. And then down here in the middle, you can see the different parameters and settings have changed, and therefore you can play with the dry, the wet, the width, the size, dampness, the color, etc., etc. You can reset the chain. So you click on reset the chain and it will remove all the different slots, as you can see. Let's go back to slot number 1. Let's say that I want dynamics and I activate that again. You can see here you have an expander, a noise gate, a compressor, and a limiter as well. And then again, use your parameters for a compressor, which you would expect would be there, like attack, release, threshold, duration, the makeup. There is an interesting feature here which is called match input. Let me show you what it does. I purposely selected the compressor for that. So it matches the input amplitude, which and you can see the reflection on the waveform in the middle. Throughout the different settings of the effect, where appropriate, you have the ability to sync also for to bits per minute, like for example on the rates on the modulation here. Which of course it's additional functionality for you to sync it to other apps within, for example, AUM. You can load a preset, you can slot preset, sorry, and you can also save a slot preset alongside the chain as well. As you can see, there are a lot of different possibilities. You have modulation, and under modulation, you have chorus, flanger, phaser, vibrato, tremolo, and autopan. You have a reverb we have seen, you have delay as well, and as you can see, you can link or unlink between the left and right channel, and a lot of different options as you would expect for any delay effects. You have EQ here, which is great. You have your low shelf and high shelf. Then you have the different bands, free bands. You have the low, mid, and high here for frequency and Q. Pitch, which is also welcome. You can use it as a doubler, as an harmonizer as well. And then, of course, you can change the drive and wet effect, and also the pitch will introduce a delay. And perhaps I use this one to show you also the difference between dry and wet chain focus versus slot focus. So let me show you, let me activate slot number 2, for example, on a reverb, like so. So, and now let's go back to slot number 1, and let's change the pitch. So you can clearly hear the difference when the pitch is altered, right? So now if I'm changing the dry and wet at chain level, I will change it for both effects. And you can see also the differences on the waveform display. But if I was to change these to slot focus, and I was going to change the dry and wet effect, because I have selected slot number 1, it will change only dry and wet for the pitch slot. So in this case, I don't have pitch alteration because I set the dry and wet balance down to 0 here to the left. But of course, you still see this bar here, which in gray color, which is for the chain. So the blue one, as you can see here, slot focus, the words are highlighted in blue, is for the slot. And then if you click here, chain, it becomes gray, the color of the text, and you alter the chain, which is the longer bar in this case. So you have this ability to change the dry and wet effect per slot based on the slot which is selected up here, or for the entire chain, which again gives you a lot more flexibility. Then you have an additional category here. You have utility, and here you have hard clip, you have bit crusher, you have transistor, cassette, etc., etc. A lot of different effects. So I think I covered the basics of sumFX. I hope you enjoyed, and please try out. Thank you very much. Bye.